MK, and I am here with another mixed media mayhem recipe for you guys today. I am also combining this recipe with my Kit Conspiracy kit. So for my recipe, I have a stencils, and then I am going to use some Distress Oxide ink through the stencil. I also have a ribbon or lace, and so I picked out this lacy ribbon right here that's got a little bit of burlap. Truth be told, I set it off to the side and forgot to use it. So yeah, I didn't follow the recipe exactly. I apologize. And then we also had an ink spray. So I pulled out my black ink spray from Distress Tim Holtz. It's a Distress ink spray. And then this is the ink and blending brush that I will be using for my stencil. I also have my footpath as well as this little wood piece that I found in one of my embellishment packs. It was the one that I mentioned during my share that it was broke, and so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna fix it and use it, and it'll look fabulous. I also pulled out some stars that are in the paper die cut form as well as in the chipboard form. I've got some stars that are in the little sticker form. I think they're called puffy stars. And then I have a couple round objects to add. These ones, some of them are from the the Legendary collection, while the other one, the dark orange one, was from the Made of Awesome. That's what it's called, not Something Awesome. Made of Awesome, a die cut pack. And then these two pieces are cut apart pieces from the paper that I cut apart. And then the amazing label tag is from the Made of Awesome die cut pack as well. But I'm going to try to cover up the word boy because my daughter's in these photos as well. And then here, new to me, new to my shop, I should say, is this fabulous hexagon stitching template. And then this is the tool that I use. I've been asked often, lots and lots of times, what tool do you use to poke through? This is the tool that I use to measure my circles, to cut my circles, everything. And it is just the retractable piercing tool by Tim Holtz. I do also offer these tools in the shop as well. So if you're interested in them, both items are in the shop. Okay, so I'm going to use this Happy Camper again to back my photos, and then I'm going to use this sunshine paper to go ahead and, I think it was called Horizon, to be honest, with that faint look of grid in it. But I'm going to use that with my hexagon piercing or my hexagon stitching template. And then I pulled out my Starry Night. I am going to use this for my background, you guys. I'm going to use all of it, but I'm going to twist it and have my planks go up and down or on the vertical. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go and mat my photos, and I will be right back. All right. Well, I'm going to cut the branding strip off so that way I can see which way I have to place my photos. So, yeah. Branding strips are always good to come off. I do plan on trimming all my photos down to be a 3x4, just to let you guys know. And then, a little bit smaller than 3x4. And then cut my papers down to 3x4. Now, one of the things that might not be known for the hexagon tool here is that you can also make pretty cool chevrons. So that is what I'm going to share with you guys how I do it. I just needed to know how tall I wanted my chevrons. I wanted them just a little bit shorter than my photos. And then I'm going to make them about 4 high, which is 4 little dots high, and then I'm going to stitch around them on the inside. So I have a 1/4 of an inch border all the way around. Now, I forgot to turn my camera on when I first started, but this is the second one, and I am just taking my tool, moving it up to my mark that I do on the outside of the tool, and then I'm using my pencil to mark the outline of, where my stitching is, or where my stitches are going to go, and then that way I can cut out all of these pieces, if that makes any sense. So I am using the edge of the tool to mark how wide my hexagons are going to be from hole to tool, and then I'm using my pencil to mark the holes as to how wide all of these are going to be. So here's what it actually looks like when I am done. So I'm actually going to take my trimmer, and where I did all the hole marks, that's what I'm going to use for my trimmer. And I trimmed it down really, down to the marks in the on the side that I did. I trimmed my paper down based off of the holes that I made. And now I'm just taking my piercing tool and piercing it around. So I have that really cool 1/4 inch border. I apologize, that went by way too fast. But that's basically all I'm doing, is marking all of the inside of the chevrons with this tool, using the holes and my lines that I created. You just have to decide how wide you want your chevrons and how tall you want your chevrons. And I used my photos for that. So I'm going to go ahead and make 5 little chevrons. I'm going to go ahead and pierce each one before cutting it apart. That way I can line the tools up instead of working with a small piece of paper. I was worried that it was actually going to start moving on me when I started piercing around it. So that's why I'm leaving a little bit. But once I got to the last piece, because obviously that one's going to be tiny, once I got there, I was like, silly me. I could have cut all these apart and not had to worry about it, but didn't think about it. So, and then for the last one, when I marked the bottom portion, I actually just used my pencil and wrote in all the little circles instead of trying to figure out where my starting point was. So what I'm cutting on right now is a whole bunch of circles because I didn't really know. And so I just thought it was kind of cool to be able to use this chevron or this hexagon template to make little chevrons as well. So I just wanted to share with it. I was super excited to share this little technique with you guys and maybe inspire you guys to look at your tools a little bit different. I have yet to use my circle template, but it is coming, you guys. I promise it will come. All right, so I went ahead and I picked out some thread. It is DMC thread 920. I just have all my thread wrapped on these little paper spools from my cross stitch days. That is when I did it and how I did it. It was way before I started scrapbooking. I bet if I would have started on the DMC floss now, I probably would not even bother wrapping them up. But for scrapbooking or for cross stitching, it is very helpful to keep all your thread organized and whatnot. So I decided to record myself actually stitching on one of the chevrons. Now, I'm not going to make you guys watch me stitch all 5 of the chevrons. It'll be the exact same way. But yes, I am going to go ahead and stitch, and I do a back stitch, and I am stitching all the way around in one direction instead of trying to stitch the whole thing all the way around. I find this process a lot faster than if I were to stitch, then back stitch, the stitch, then back stitch, stitch, then back stitch. So I go all the way around, and then I go back into the hole that I started in and then flip my design, and now I'm going back around. So because I also did not clean up my holes, I just used my piercer, and when you pierce through paper, it leaves, the paper, right? It leaves the paper going down, and so what it's doing to my thread is it's making my thread go in all different directions. And as you can see, that it's a very wonky stitch, which in this case I'm okay with that wonky stitch, but I do fix it. I think I share with you guys how I fix it, even though it goes by really fast. I just take my fingers along the thread line and just smush all that paper down and around, and then I feel like it's a lot straighter of a stitch. I'm okay with it not being absolutely perfect. It's handmade. It's not supposed to be perfect like a machine did it, right? And then of course, I can't leave well enough alone, you guys. Everything in this entire week is going to be distressed. Like I'm what does Janet call it? I think Janet calls it paper dandruff. Yeah, it's going to be all over me by the end of this week and all over my floor. I have to sweep my floor. Actually, I already did because this week's over, but in this case, I'm letting you guys know. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take my Distress ink in Black Soot. Now, I did choose an oxide, to do this technique. And the reason I did that is because the oxide seems to stay on the surface of my wood grain a lot longer and a lot better than a distress ink. The ink goes right down into the grooves, and just it takes a lot more of the ink to get the color, the desired color and effect I'm going for. So I instantly reach for my oxides. I do that for chipboard. I do that for wood grain. If I'm doing a solid wood piece like I did here, I do that for any porous surface. I always pick my oxides because they stay on the surface. All right, so now I'm just trying to decide how I want my photos to go. And then I am also going to see how the chevrons fit in the layout. Now, I do have to tell you guys that I was very inspired. I have been seeing these chevron style layouts come out. I think I saw 3 before this video even came out, using this same exact design. So I don't know if there's a sketch out there. I'm not really sure, but I was very, very inspired by those specific layouts. Truth be told, just because of the fact that I thought, oh my gosh, that really does go well with my subject matter of what I'm talking about. So we are headed out to what is called the Hidden Caves. And the Hidden Caves is a very old, well, basically hangout spot that archaeologists have just, well, they haven't just discovered it, but they discovered it. And then the deeper that they dig, the more they discover how old it really is, and how many not how many civilizations, but how long the civilizations have been using this cave. It's actually pretty cool once you get into the cave and see it. But it's also really cool to learn about the area around the cave and how it used to be a lake and how it used to, you know, all the things about this specific one. So this specific layout is about the sandy path that we are walking and where the sand actually came from and whatnot, and why it is, you know, like the tour guide actually approaches it of, are you having trouble walking? You know, because not a lot of people in our area walk on sand unless they go visit Winnemucca a lot. There's sand dunes up in Winnemucca, which is so cool. It's like, wow, where did those come from? But a lot of people haven't been to the sand dunes, and they haven't seen or walked on sand, or you know, they might have walked on a beach once in their life or whatnot. But it's weird to have it here in this very dry climate. Like, where would you have had that much water to create sand, right? And so she likes to approach it like that and ask the people, you know, what do you think? Where do you think it came from and whatnot? And to find out that you're walking in a lake bed is just fabulous. And she does tell me, not just me personally, but she tells the group about how when there's a lot of heavy rainfalls, and yes, we do get a lot of heavy rainfalls, then the water gets trapped there because there's no natural release for it. There's nowhere for it to reach the ocean. And so it stays trapped there and creates more sand year after year after year. Like, the sand will never dissipate anywhere. It will never get walked on so much that it grinds into the earth and just, you know, spreads out and moves on. It will always be there because of the trapped water when the rainfalls are there. In fact, if you guys are interested, where this giant lake, again, there were several giant lakes, and the one remaining one is Lake Lahontan, just, what is that? Just west of Fallon, Nevada. You can go and visit it and whatnot. It is fabulous as well. You can't swim in it. You can't play in it. You can fish in it, and that's about it. You can't eat the fish. It's a catch and release, but it is fun to go visit and learn about this lake because it's a natural. It's the one remaining one next to Lake Walker. Lake Walker is also a pretty cool lake that we have here in Nevada, and our most famous watering spot, I should say. So lots of lakes still are there, but it's actually kind of cool how archaeologists are interested in this because that's where the civilizations lived, is near a body of water, and you can find the most what are they called? Artifacts? You can find the most artifacts around lake beds and whatnot. And a lot of people like to metal detect over there, even though back then they didn't have metal. So it's not like you're going to find something archaeological, but it is still one of the most famous places to go and find things, right? And so, yeah, this is just super cool. All right, you guys. So I have added a little bit of stencil work behind all of my photos, as well as my chevrons that I put down. Now I just put my chevrons down very lightly with my tape runner. They won't stick. The thread that is on there, it'll just keep popping up. And so it's not strong enough to stick. So eventually I will be going back and adding a little bit of glue to it. And then I also cut out these 2 labels, and I'm going to use the very thin strips of paper left from the labels. And I'm just going to apply it on the sides of my photo just to give it a little bit extra stuff, a little bit more paper involved, right? Because I'm not using a whole lot of layers. Like I didn't pull out 6 different pieces of paper and, and started making a bunch of layers or anything. I actually ended up just making my design. And when I do mixed media pages, I love doing it this way because then I really get to enjoy the mixed media part instead of only seeing a sliver of it. So here's my first attempt at decorating my layout, and I am just slapping things on, finding negative spaces in the pictures, just not even thinking about it. And this is like my dry run. This is why I don't just glue things right away. I like to see what it is, and then I stand up and kind of look at it. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, the flow was wrong. The flow just didn't seem to be where it was supposed to be. I felt like all the orange was on one side of the layout, all the blue was on the other side of the layout. I needed more orange in certain places, but then again, I liked how the smaller circles, it goes from small all the way down and kind of snakes around my pictures. So I don't know. It's like, oh man, how am I going to do this? So I'm going to just sit here and play with it for a bit. I really like this. I really like how my amazing is tucked there with that giant circle. And then I put a sticker in there for maybe a date or something. It's a little too small for journaling. And I don't need to journal on every single one of these pages. I really don't, if I'm being honest. My today is now all together. I glued it all together. And the magic there is texture paste. I'm just saying, you guys. So I inked my page, and see how dark my title or my wood piece got. So I inked it with my oxide ink, and then I dabbed it with my finger using texture paste. And the texture paste got hard and now is holding my piece together. And then of course it brightened and darkened my ink that I put on there. So, and now it's shiny too. So it's just a cool little effect. I didn't share with you guys because it's not a pretty sight. I'm just saying the texture paste actually turns green because of the foundation used to make the black ink. So some blacks are made out of purple, some blacks are made out of green, and I think some blacks are also made out of blue. And so when you wet them, or you try to clean something that had black on them and then it turns a totally different color, that's because of the base that was used to make your ink. And so when I first did it, I thought, well, that way if it doesn't turn out, I just won't use it. But it turned green and it was kind of ugly and I wasn't too sure how it was going to look. And then it dried the next day and I was super stoked, like, that's awesome. So I couldn't wait to put it on my layout, but now it's as if it was never broke. So even if your pieces are broke, you guys, honestly, if they're going to go flat on a layout, it's fine. It'll be just fine. I don't know when this one broke. I don't even know. It almost looks like a Heidi Swapp piece because of the handwriting. But truth be told, I don't know where this wood piece came from. All right, so I'm going to finish up this layout with my enamel dots, or nope, they are more like puffy dots, they're not enamel because enamel's hard. They're more like puffy, shiny stars. And then that is it, you guys. Honestly, I really do like the flow. So I've got a cross section going on, and then my embellishments are kind of making like a diagonal across my page. And so I really do like how it all turned out. I love the pop of orange. I didn't really want to do a pop of red because of my son's t-shirt that he's wearing, but I think the orange tones that t-shirt down. And then I love the little tiny word stickers all over. There is the close-up of my wood veneer that I fixed. And that is all, you guys. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Don't forget to check out all the links that I have down below. Not only for this series, but for my Mixed Media Mayhem series, as well as for all of the groups. The groups are a great resource to go and check out other people's work who aren't here on YouTube. So that is another reason why I put the groups down below. If you guys are interested in checking out more inspiration and more pieces of, using this, either this kit or mixed media. Also, too, don't forget to check out Janet Fritz's channel. She is Galaxy Girl Creations here on YouTube, and my partner when it comes to Kit Conspiracy. It was her brain and my brain that came up with this little series that we do twice a year. We do it in April as well as in November, and it is a great way to stash bust because we end up just being so inspired by this little kit that we made for just 1 week. And it is a little kit. It's not a huge kit. But we use it for just 1 week, and then we are able to, get so inspired that we end up making a layout a day. So it's great. All right, you guys, again, thank you so much, and I will check y'all later. Bye.